Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Power of Charms interview series. We always have fun, exciting, and diverse people on. And today I have Jessica Adnani. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Kay. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a joy. It's a joy. Jessica and I actually met when we were on the board or the event planning committee, I think for Amanda Hope Rainbow Angels.
I think was it the 2018 event,
I
wasn't it?
think so. I think so. Yeah. First time we interacted. And it's interesting because our worlds kind of are the same. And so we've collided through a few different things, different groups and events and stuff like that, and mutual friends. But I love Jessica's energy. She's young, she's vibrant, she has an amazing company called Personalized Solutions. And she just told me that there's a new development with Personalized Solutions. So I was going to ask you all about what you do and what is Personalized Solutions, but I'm going to give you the forum right now. Tell us what you've been doing and then what's your new direction.
All right. So, Personalized Solutions, I started back in Washington, D.C. 10 years ago. And we were focused on digital marketing, event planning, mostly in the political space, because, Washington is infiltrated with all of that. And so, events, digital marketing, and politics. About how many years ago now? In 2018, at end of 2017, I came to Arizona for a business trip and I loved it. And I ended up meeting the founder of Gabriel's Angels. I met Women of Scottsdale Head, and I met another woman who is like a big philanthropist. They invited me to an American Heart Association event, and I went and I had a great time. And then I got roped into going to the Heart Ball and flying back the next month. And this ball in Arizona just kind of kept moving. And all I did was show up at the event, the happy hour thing that was happening at the hotel I was staying at while I was there for a work thing, my first time ever. And I quickly fell in love with Arizona. It's such an enamoring place. And I was really, really getting tired of the DC grind. I've loved the time that I had in DC, but 8 years is plenty. So I said to all my clients, I'm jumping ship. I'm moving to Arizona. I'm going to start everything out there. And I was hoping that I could find a little bit more meaning in the work I was doing. Politics can be kind of jading in the grind of what it is. And we got into nonprofit work out here, which has been so rewarding. One of my first events that I did get to participate in was the event with you for Amanda Hope in 2018, and that was awesome. Anyways, what started off as doing a lot of volunteering finally started to take form and we were getting clients. So fast forward to right now, I won't bore you guys with all the details of 2018 to this moment, but we have decided to split the business. We have a lot of for-profit clients and then we've got nonprofit clients, and we're offering a lot of the same services but in completely different ways to both. So now we've got Personalized Solutions focusing on the for-profit. We're doing the digital marketing, the podcast studio in Scottsdale, branding, websites, all that fun stuff, and then corporate events, Personalized Solutions. On the nonprofit side, we are launching Philanthropy United, which we launched the podcast in January on our 10-year anniversary.
Mm.
And now we're into season 2. It's been great. But we decided let's take that brand and build an entire agency around it. So digital marketing and strategy to then sell out large scale events for nonprofits. And it's dedicated only to the nonprofit sector. So it's great because we finally found that division point that makes sense in
Sure.
how we can split up everything that we do and kind of, service everybody, but in the ways that they need to be serviced. So that's my big announcement. We literally just finished the website last night,
Yay!
and we're going to be making the announcement and sending out the press release really soon. So, Kay, you are the first to know.
Well, we're honored. We're honored to spread the word for you. And I think I love the name Philanthropy United. And it just goes along with your podcast. So that's just perfect. I do have a question for you though.
Yes.
I have done a lot of cause marketing campaigns where I tie in charities with corporations. Is there any kind of uh, combination plan or anything that you have where you invite a corporation to come in and support the charity and it's a cause that makes sense for them to?
We currently have a program that we operate, and it really works more with athletics, so professional athletes that we then tie in with the nonprofit to then become kind of that ambassador. I
Mhm.
love what you're doing with your cause marketing. I think that there's a huge segment for that, and I would love to add the more corporate side into being able to funnel the good work and expand the network of the charity.
Mhm.
We've developed on the Philanthropy United side similar to this, but not quite the same, where, you sponsor an event. So say Charity Charms is an event sponsor for the Night of Hope Gala, and you've got your logo on a bunch of things, and that's really it. Well, instead of doing that, why don't we do a video series where we're talking about the impact that this nonprofit has? And then we're saying, and the work we're doing here would never be possible without Kay of Charity Charms.
Mhm,
Thank you, Kay. And then your logo's there. But
mhm.
then we give you that video, and you get to then say, you know what? This is the amazing work Amanda Hope's doing. This is the organization that I am supporting. And now I have video content to show to my followers. So we're doubling that audience, we're doubling that reach
Mhm.
with something that the internet favors, which is video content right now.
Right. Well, and I think it's also so important for a company to let the world and their clients know that they have a philanthropic arm, because we both know that especially if you're selling a product or a service, 85% of the people are going to choose the one that has some kind of a philanthropy or cause that they support. It's just,
Absolutely. Because you want to feel good. We all want to do good deep down. And so if a corporation can do that, especially partnering with you, I mean, it makes so much sense.
mhm, mhm. Well, we've always thought that, so I'm glad we're in alignment there. Hey, okay, so we've just been through a really tough time with the pandemic, and I remember last March, all of a sudden all the events were boom, 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 and all of a sudden I had a clear calendar. So things have definitely changed. And tell me what trends you're seeing in the nonprofit arena, and are live events coming back? Is it a hybrid? What's going on in the universe?
So I would say the nonprofits that got back to their live events as soon as possible. I mean, we had two sold out events last November when it was still, questionable territory as to whether people should be gathering. And I'm telling you, the people were thrilled to be out. So that nonprofit, I mean, they've bounced back 15 times faster than a lot of other nonprofits that either canceled everything or only did virtual. The virtual events, obviously, we saw a ton of those happening. I think the people who were able to do them in an innovative way that wasn't just stare at the screen, listen to someone talk at you, kind of incorporating a little bit of a fun element. Like one did a murder mystery where everybody had to go find things around their house, and they sent everybody a bottle of champagne and like a little, murder mystery kit that was branded to the charity ahead of the event. And that one did really well because it was something different and they had something to promote that was different versus, hey, we're doing our gala this year virtually. That doesn't really get anyone excited. I think we've hit that burnout point of, I want to engage in person again. So the hybrid thing, I think that's a great thing that's now in existence, because if you're out of town and you're in, I don't know, Kansas City for work, but the event's happening in Scottsdale and it's one that you would love to attend in person and you normally attend in person, hey, now at least you're able to tune in and see what's going on and feel like you were at least a little bit of a part of all the fun that was happening in Scottsdale for the Night of Hope.
Mhm.
And it's opening up that donor base to being a lot larger than just what's in our backyard. I think what was cool at Night of Hope, since we were both there this year, is we're live seeing the house that we can bid on in Nashville. And in real time, we're able to talk to the people who've donated their gorgeous house and why Amanda Hope is so important to them. So that kind of stuff is so valuable. And I think with the pandemic, it forced us to all be a lot more tech savvy. And unfortunately, the nonprofits who didn't jump on board with that, I think are really feeling those effects. And they're the people who've had to cut their staff and aren't being able to fulfill their mission quite like they were prior.
Mhm, mhm. I remember that Lorraine, who's the executive director of Amanda Hope, even mentioned that they were getting some people watching like out of the country. I think someplace in Europe and South America. She had people coming in from all over, which has really opened up huge opportunities for audiences that charities were never reaching before. So just kind of an interesting little add-on that's happened in the world. And I think it'll be fun to watch. And hopefully all this will augment what was already happening and help charities become bigger and stronger if they're
I
embracing it.
agree. I totally agree. But like kind of like our podcast, right? You'll look at that data and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe someone in Atlanta is listening to my podcast. I never go to Atlanta. I mean, at least me personally, I've been there like twice. So it's fun to see because I always say you never know who's paying attention, you never know who's watching, you never know who's going to stumble on you either through social media or through a web search. And that's why it's so important for nonprofits, for profits, for all of us to be consistent in keeping up with what we're presenting out to the world.
Mhm.
Because like I'd said at one of our other meetings, if you go to a nonprofit's website and it hasn't been updated since 2017, do you believe that they're going to be good stewards of those funds that you were considering giving?
No, no, that's a very, very good point. But it's a real struggle, I think, for all nonprofits and all businesses to stay current.
Mhm.
If you don't have like a dedicated staff to keep everything updated, it's easy to fall behind. Um, this is your wheelhouse, right? I mean, you do social
Yes.
media marketing, you do PR, you do websites, event planning, brand consulting, everything.
Yeah.
If a charity is small and doesn't have a big budget, is there one thing that you would recommend that they should concentrate on? Like always keep your Facebook page updated or start a podcast. Is there one thing that they can do to at least stay current if they can't keep up with the rest of the items?
100%, definitely. That's actually most of our clients are the smaller nonprofits because they don't have the ability to hire that one concerted person to just handle all of their digital. It's easier to have an outside company like us come in and then we can put together the moving pieces and take it off the plate of the nonprofit. But if you have no real budget and you're kind of just like day by day grinding, if you have a blog on your website and you're not keeping it up to date, take it off your website. Number one,
Mm.
no one wants to see a blog from 5 months ago. They want to see current. Most people, it's not even 5 months, it's like from 2 years ago. Easy. You don't have to have one. There's no pressure. Take it off.
Take it off.
Second,
Boy, that would take a lot of pressure off of a lot of people, Jessica.
right? Because there's nothing worse when you sit there and you're like, I'm going to write today. And you're like, so much has happened. Where do I start with what I'm going to write today? Because every day in a nonprofit, something new is happening. It's constantly turning. So get rid of that. Number two, if you have to pick one platform, think about what your donor base is. And I'm going to push LinkedIn all day, every day. LinkedIn is incredibly undersaturated in terms of social media platforms. So, for example, our business, yeah, we do digital, but most of the people that we're engaging with and really, really like fostering those relationships with are on LinkedIn. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily as much Instagram. It's good to have that presence. It's great to have the Facebook presence. Those are very important. But we've determined this is where the people who are most likely to hire us, collaborate with us, partner with us are living, and that's there. So think about it. You don't have to do all of them. Just pick one and try and do it consistently. And by consistent, to start out, 3 times a week. When you're able to kind of grow from that point, 5 times at max, you do not need to post 7 days a week. You're going to inundate people and they're going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
all I hear about is charity charms.
Enough already. That's interesting because I have always believed in LinkedIn, and that's always kind of been our target and our focus because our customers are usually executive directors of charities or the founder of a women's organization or something like that. And so that's where they live. But I know that we've spent a lot of time posting on Facebook and I just feel like it's going out into the universe. And, with every entity, time is money and there's only a limited amount of it. So I really love that you think that LinkedIn is the place to be. I agree. It seems like there's some new things happening with LinkedIn, like linked videos. A lot of people are doing videos and
Yes.
sponsoring events and things. Can you just give us a quick update on what's new with LinkedIn?
So they just added where you can have events on LinkedIn, which is awesome. So now nonprofits, for profits, anybody can say, hey, come to my webinar on Tuesday. We're going to be going over the top 5 things you can do to change your digital strategy in 5 minutes, right? And you're like, okay, cool. That's a 15-minute meeting event. It's virtual. Click, I'm going. And then it emails you, it adds right to your Google Calendar, and you know that you signed up for my webinar. Same for charity events. It's a whole new way of being able to, instead of just taking that link of, hey, go buy your tickets for the Night of Hope,
Mhm.
now you can create the event on LinkedIn, which LinkedIn favors. LinkedIn wants you to use their platform over everybody else. So you can write articles on LinkedIn, but you could also take your blog post that you already wrote and then post it on LinkedIn as well. If you write the article, you're going to get way more reach because LinkedIn is going to favor the fact that you went and literally copied and pasted that same information but hit publish on their form versus on your own website. So that's a cool thing just to keep in
That's
mind
very
if you
cool.
are, if you're writing.
Yeah.
Um, so that's number one. Then number two, video content. But here's the thing. Say you've got a YouTube video, a Vimeo video, I don't know, a video from somewhere, and you take that link and you post it, it's going to show up, which is great, and you write your little caption. But if you were to actually take that raw video file and upload it into LinkedIn as a native folder, as a native file, they're going to take that video and put it above everybody else who is sharing a YouTube link, a Vimeo link, etc. It's goofy, it's annoying. It's like, why can't you just take my YouTube link and run with it? Because we love YouTube. YouTube's fantastic, but the analytics, they will not show it to as many people. Another fun thing, do polls. You can do a poll of charity charms. What charm would you most like to see this season? Exclusive limited edition for Valentine's Day, for Mother's Day, for whatever. Or you could do a poll. Here's a picture. We did 2 designs for the 4-Mom charity, this one and this one. Which one do you think more Major League Baseball players would like? And then let people vote, and then they're engaging with you and they're also seeing the work that you're able to do. So the polls, I mean, I just did one last week about how annoyed I am about Facebook turning into Meta and rebranding themselves. I'm like, why are you doing this? You're annoying. But that got, I think, close to 6,000 views, and I had tons of people vote on it. Stupid little, question, but very, very favorable.
That is so cool. Well, this is one reason why people should work with you, Jessica, because you're always on top of everything, always on top of the latest. And you just taught me like 3 things I had no idea about.
I can't wait to see your newest posts.
Yeah, really. We got to shake this up a little bit, do something different. Okay, so tell me what you think your real genius zone is. It marketing ideas? Is it more implementation? Is it branding? Or all of the above?
I would say I thrive on the design end of things and the big picture. I can look at a nonprofit and understand what they're doing, and then all the things that we can sprout out to then engage their donor base or like tie in so that we're being a little bit more strategic with the time and the money spent. Implementation is all day Kendall on my team. She's operations, loves that stuff, loves a good process. And then Sean, the other person on our team, he's fantastic, but Sean is, how do we take digital and make it as impacting as possible? And how do we take something that's a small idea and make it bloom into a much larger idea? So I want to take credit for being really smart, but without those 2, I feel like, what would we be doing? I don't know. Because there's so many moving parts.
That's the mark of a good team, though. So you've got the idea person, and then the people that can implement. So that's necessary. I figured you were probably the big idea person.
Yeah, like randomly one day in 2020, end of 2020, it'd been a brutal year for us too, right? We had 20 events on the calendar across the country. And then March hit. We had our huge event 3 days before the world shut down. So we got lucky on that one. But I mean, there goes all your revenue, right? No events, no money. You're not going to charge a nonprofit for something that doesn't happen, especially in a pandemic. So we were really like, what do I do? And I was pretty depressed, I won't lie to you. And then one day I go, Philanthropy United podcast. Oh my God, we could interview leaders and then we could spread their impact stories. And of course it'll be free, but then we can get to know more nonprofit leaders around the country. And B, it's a new way for other people to find that organization. Oh, this would be so smart. And then within 15 minutes, I had the entire thing designed. Let's go for the podcast. And Kendall was like, that's genius.
Right? Yeah, it's like the aha, like, okay, this just feels right. Come with it.
But I don't do the implementation. She does the reaching out, the booking, the researching, the making sure everybody's scheduled part. Like, ugh, don't put me in front of a spreadsheet. That's all I got to say.
Me neither. That's not my favorite thing either. So I want to know a little bit about Jessica. I read that you are a certified boxing coach and like a spin instructor. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so in Washington, D.C., I got certified to teach spin, I think in 2016. I had been taking tons and tons of classes at like all these different studios. I love to just do different things. I'm not a creature of habit by any means. And I was like, I could teach this. This is so fun. This is so energizing. It's such a positive, like 45 minutes. And, I like to master things. So I went and I got my certification and I taught for a little bit in DC. And then I moved to Arizona and I was going to every networking event under the sun. I was traveling back to DC once or twice a month to keep up with those clients. And I knew I couldn't really add in something that was going to require me to be there every week at the same time. So I kind of let that go and just kept spinning for fun. And then I really got into boxing about 2 years ago. And then I took my USA boxing certification, and one of our old for-profit clients opened his own gym. I said I'd love to try out to be an instructor. I've got a little experience in this realm with spin, but boxing is different. He said, yeah, absolutely. So I was one of the first founding 4 trainers at a local boxing gym called Onyx in Scottsdale. And I teach when I'm in town twice a week. And when I'm not in town, which is literally all the time, my lovely coworkers are more than willing to take my class and sub it for me. So I'm still able to do it even though I'm not here 100%, which is awesome. But we do a lot of charity fundraisers. Boxing is a great, great charity fundraiser.
Well,
So you'll have to come to the next one.
I will. You'll have to let me know. I just think that's so cool. I love to find out things about people that you don't usually find out when you're working with them. Hey, so I forgot to ask you, is there a special symbol in your life that has significance or meaning? Like a boxing glove or a bicycle or a wing?
Evil eye.
Evil eye. Oh my gosh. Tell me about that.
I've got one on literally always.
Love it. Love it.
And I've also got one on my ring too. I mean, I'm so into them. I'm half Persian, half Swedish. And in Middle Eastern culture and Greek culture and Turkish and all that fun stuff, it's really such a symbol. You see it everywhere. And when I was younger, my grandmother always would give me little evil eye things. And she and I were really, really close. And she said, it's to protect you. It's to bounce off any negative energy that someone's trying to emit your direction, or a hater is like the popular term. And it bounces that away and it protects you from that evil, of jealousy, of greed, of anyone with bad intention. So I've got one in my car. I always have one on my body, no matter what, even when I take a shower. And yeah, it's just one of those things.
Well, I lived in Greece for a while, and I have lots of evil eye stuff. I didn't even know. I should have worn my evil eye stuff. My office is above a Greek restaurant, and I used to have a big evil eye on my keychain, but it busted a while ago, so I need to replace it. But that is so cool. I'm so glad I asked. I love the evil eye. We don't have an evil eye charm yet, but now it's going to be in the works.
You definitely need one.
Absolutely. Jessica, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to share with our audience before we sign off?
I want to know what's going on with Charity Charms. What are the new endeavors that you guys are working on right now, and what can we expect in early 2022?
Very good question. Well, we just launched our book, The Power of Charms, and we did a corresponding website, The Power of Charms, and it's spawned out of having interviews with my clients. And so that's a new endeavor for us. And then we're building a whole program for corporations and private women's groups where they can do a book. Here, where's my book? Oh, I don't have it in front of me right now. But, oh yes, I do. So we can do a custom book for other women's groups featuring all of their members in it. And each person can choose a charm, and then they can turn it into a fundraiser for their organization. So that's
brilliant.
That's a fun new direction. And then we always do, and well, here's one that we did for the LabCorp, and they're going to be our first client.
Very cool.
Their group, WenCorp. And we will always do taking a charity's logo and turning it into a beautiful charm as well. So it's kind of the same business, but a little bit new direction with the Power of Charms, just like you're kind of splitting and doing your thing. So constantly evolving, and I really thank you for asking.
Yes, absolutely. It's awesome. I love the idea of doing the fundraiser and being able to put the book together and have all these different collateral pieces. That's so smart.
Yeah, well, it's fun, no moss under these feet, right?
No, that's what I love about you. You're always grinding and think of the next thing and just keep it moving. And that is how you've got to be if you want to stay, thriving in this new digital age. So props to you. I love that you started a podcast, that you wrote a book, that you're writing a second book, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm doing this was volume 1. It had 24 interviews, and I interview people every week. You'll be in the next book. And eventually I want to have like a lovely coffee table book with like 100 interviews and a bunch more symbols. And so it's constantly
put this lady on the cover of the Phoenix Business Journal. I mean, come on.
Thank you. That'd be great. Hey, if people want to get in touch with you, philanthropyunited.com and personalizedsolutions.com.
Personalizedsolu.com.
Okay.
Solutions was too long, so we cut it in half.
Okay. That's great. And
Yeah, we've got contact forms on the website. You can always reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn, Jessica Leila Adnani.
I just thank you so much for your time today. I'm really excited about your new direction going forward, the for-profit and then the not-for-profit. It just makes total sense. So best of luck to you, and we'll stay in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, Kay. You're the best.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.